So I just should click 2 buttons and then we'll be good. And then we can say hello. I think they can hear us.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, how's it going, everybody? The plan for today is to put some Happy Model stuff in a quad because we got a bunch of Happy Model stuff. What all did we get? It was the EP1, the EP2, and then we got the EP1 Dual. And we got these Pancakes with MPU 6000s, and they have basically an EP1 built into it, a VTX in it, and then it's 20x20 mounting. So we should be able to make it like a super slammed LightSwitch build.
And it's $49. Like that is, that's kind of crazy. If you look at the competition, like
it's $49 just for the flight controller.
Yeah, but that, I know, or just a certain board that has a VTX and RX inside of it, like all in one. It's 20x30 and 30x30 mounting. The VTX is on it. That's just crazy, the price. And as far as like the ease of building it, it's pretty impressive. So I think this is gonna be like the shortest live stream ever for a quad build because he's gonna solder like 6 things on, plug in a camera.
Yeah, you gotta solder motors and then what? Camera wire.
Yeah.
And there is a little difference in the pinout of the ESC to the flight control. It's only 2 wires. So the way telemetry and current are on this is backwards from telemetry and current.
Okay.
Foxier.
That's not bad.
So you swap 2 wires, solder up this camera, and then I'm gonna be using this, I guess, LightSwitch hat that Michael Garofalo wanted. So
yeah,
he calls it the mouse. He said it looks like a mouse.
A little bit.
It integrates our Axie mount with our Alex FPV hat, and then it'll be pretty cool on there. And this one's made to hug the 20mm mount, so it'll be super clean.
So are we doing the 20mm standoffs today or the 25?
20. So it's gonna be
20.
a
So it'll be
short
slammed.
stack.
It'll be slammed.
I already got the motors on. Well, he put the motors on. I just need to
put in
solder up
12
these
screws.
motors. And then what else did we get in yesterday? We got Ghost Ultimates,
Oh, the Power Meter V2s.
Power Meter V2s, and we got Rapid Fires. If anybody wants a Rapid Fire, a fresh Rapid Fire, or if you're trying to get back in the analog.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, a bunch of Rapid Fires because we actually just need them for like stem kits and stuff. And then that's also why we're getting this ELRS stuff, because they use ELRS, and we also have it built into these radios. So it's gonna be super convenient to be able to just have this set up, and then it'll already be on my built-in module, and then.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You don't need a module or anything. You have the bind phrase basically. You turn on your radio and it's connected, and you can be flying at high refresh rate. You're not losing anything. In some cases, you know, with all it seems like all the advancements they're making, it may even be an advantage to have a higher refresh rate and all the cool things they're doing. So, pretty cool. So the price, the functionality, and now it's available. You know, that's pretty impressive. So let's see how easy it goes together. I guess. We may even go through setting up the whole thing and just see if we run into any hiccups.
Oh, true. Yeah. The bind is different on this, so we don't even have to do all of the typical ELRS stuff where you go into like the web browser and everything. Yeah. Because it's an SPI-RX, you can't do that. You connect to it through Betaflight, and then you flash it through Betaflight.
Okay.
And then you can put in your bind phrase. There's like a bind phrase, I guess, decoder almost. Like you put in your bind phrase and it puts it in as digits that you put into Betaflight.
Whoa.
So then you just put it in the CLI, and then that's how you bind it. Or there's a bind button on some of them. I don't know if I saw a bind button on this one. So yeah, you'd put it into or you can put the like bind code into CLI, and then it'll put it in bind mode as well. And then you just put your radio in bind mode afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a different process than the other separate ones that you connect through a UART, since it's an SPI-RX.
But, I mean, I guess if you have one of these flight controllers, you'll be able to sit here, watch this video, slide your way through it, and see exactly how it's done. But it should be pretty simple, and we'll show you all the tips and tricks that we know.
Yep. Let's switch, and then get to build. Pancake is so tasty, says Johnny5. This will be my first Pancake experience, but there's like a lot of pilots that have been doing Pancake builds. I know T-Dog, Hyper. Who else said?
I saw like Nitro. He's European, and he loves the pancake lover, it seems.
Yeah. So, I already had this one pre-switched, but I can go ahead and just show how I typically do that. Oh, here's one. So what I usually do, I have my little handy dandy X-Acto knife, and then I use it to like lift little pads. So there's these little tiny fingers that hold in the wires. So if you lift both of those, I end up using this for the insert and extract from these wires. You pull them out, and then you're just switching holes. But usually I push down on the ones that I just lifted, and then put it back in the hole, and then I'll use the side of it to make sure you get it all the way in the hole, just because you don't want it to slide back out. And then you can also just end up pushing back down on top of it, give it a little tug. If it's in there, it's in there. And then then this one is now set up to be able to go to a Pancake. We got a bunch of Pancakes in, and they all have MPU 6000s. We double checked. We did the Joshua Bardwell trick, where what was the CLI command?
Oh, it's status or sets or get status, something like that. And then you can just look in the CLI and it tells you exactly what the gyro is. So if you get a new flight controller and you're like, I don't know if this is a good one, then I take that back. You know, other gyros are improving, Betaflight's improving, but in the past, MPU 6000 is known to be the best. So if you want to look and see if you have the good gyro or not, then you can just go to status and CLI and it'll pop right up.
Yeah, so it looks like with the supplied gummies that come with it, there's going to be more than enough spacing there. I imagine it's going to be better to have it closer to the ESC than it is the top plate, because we have this surface mounted antenna for the RX, so you probably want a little more distance between that and your top plate, so I'm going to go with that spacing. The kit comes with some weird stuff. There's this XT30 in there, not sure what that's for. And there's also these, are these M2 screws Philips had? Not sure, because the holes in the flight controller are M3, and then it comes with these tiny screws. It comes with the XT30, and then this weird little 3D printed part. I don't know what they're for.
Yeah, the 3D printed part, surely that's for mounting, is that how? Yeah, I have no idea.
Sure. It also comes with 4 little nuts.
Well, that's for M2? Or?
Yeah, for these little screws that don't even fit. They're too small for the gummies. So I'm not sure what all that stuff's for.
Well, you get a bunch of extra hardware. You can use it for whatever you want.
Yeah, but then one thing that is awesome, it comes with an antenna, your VTX antenna, and it comes with one of these wiring harness kits. So you have your little plugs that it comes with. So it comes with all the sizes you could possibly need to go to an ESC, and then these ones aren't in one of these JST ends yet. And then so you can end up just following your wiring diagram like you see above, and then the wiring diagram of your ESC, and then you can just pin it however it needs to be. But this was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, with the Foxier pinout, you just swap 2, and it's pretty easy. So
and I'm going to double check that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
The most important ones to double check are your ground and your VBAT. So Foxier goes ground, VBAT, 1, 2, 3, 4, current, then telemetry. And then this one goes ground, VBAT, 1, 2, 3, 4, NC. So no connection, then current. So it doesn't do telemetry, but ground and VBAT are in the proper order. And yeah, that's all you do there, and that's ready to go. But we need to solder up our motors.
That should be the easy part. And then, I don't know. I guess we could get some input from the community here, but here we were talking about what would be cool for an ESC to make things easier to build. And obviously, Rotor Riot did the ESC that had the MR30 connectors off of it. But what I think would be really cool would be an ESC, and this is probably just dreaming too big, but an ESC that has an MR30 mounted to it and hard mounted, at a 90-degree angle, so it's somewhat solid and attached to the board. And then you also have pads. So then with the ESC, you could have 3 different maybe extenders, length extenders, because that's the issue. So there's different length arms. There's different kinds of quads, whether it's a Spec 7, a LightSwitch, a footy, all these different uses. If you have these different extenders that come off of it, and then we could just use our MR30 motors that we already have, and voila, it's already soldered up. But for the time being, the Foxier ESCs, it seems like in the past, the old pads that were used and they were super close together and they were tiny on these old ESCs. But I mean, these new Foxier ESCs, for any experienced person with soldering, it's a breeze. And if you're a Mondo, then you just cut it and everything just falls and looks like it was.
It just goes right into place. Once you've done it enough times, it's kind of just repetition,
A little bit, yeah. Let's see. Held up well for me on 3S and 6S. Says Johnny 5 as far as the Pancake goes.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Hyper and T-Dog only flew it on 6S, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think most of Hyper's recent videos are on the Pancake.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Oh, Johnny 5 says it would be great in a tiny trainer. That's true. I guess, yeah, it does have the ceramic antenna, which is it just looks like a little square. And supposedly that's the 2.4 antenna. And those are great and they're small, but Probably not going to get as good a range as something where you have the actual T antenna that comes off onto the arm.
Yeah.
But
there's been pretty extensive testing of people using these SMD antennas for races, and they've had like 0 issues.
Yeah,
On ELRs.
I mean, I'm sure you're not going to go long range with this thing by any means, but for races, when I feel like the thing that gets destroyed first on any of my quads is the antenna breaking, or getting chopped in midair or whatever. So this definitely pretty much guarantees that it's not going to come off. So it has its pros or has its cons, but it seems like for racing and for like cruising locally, you're going to be totally fine.
And then I think what these MR30s, why did we decide on MR30s? You want to do ready to flies with MR30s on all future ready to flies? Is that the plan?
Oh yeah, I love that. I think
I mean, I guess if you're the type of person that wants a ready to fly, you probably don't even want to solder. So then if we supply it with these MR30s and it's already built with it, then they can just buy one of our MR30 motors.
I want you to have to try really hard to break it and not be able to just plug something new in. Like if you break an arm, okay, unscrew the arm, put a new arm on, and plug in the new motor, or plug in even the current motor. If you break a flight controller, unplug the camera, put a new flight controller on there, plug it right back in with the same pins, plug in the camera, you're back up. And especially with the Pancake, I mean, come on, like it's gonna be, that's your ESC, that's your flight controller, your receiver, and your VTX. So I guess you will have to go into Betaflight to bind it. But if we can figure out a really simple way to bind it and have good quality like content to show you how to do it, then you should be able to get back in the air pretty easily. I guess you'd have to use a computer, but simplify it, because yeah, I mean, these ready to flies we're making is not like all the people in racing or our current customers, they're the ones building it. Like they have no interest really. Maybe it'd be nice, just buy a quad real quick before a race. It's ready to go. Maybe it's a few grams heavier and I'm sorry, but I think for the general community, just buying a quad, a fast quad they can go cruise around, that's ready to go and easy to repair is the way to do it in my opinion.
And that's kind of my hope for these live stream builds, because as soon as we're done with this, we're going to post it up once we get some pretty pictures of it. And I'm kind of hoping somebody buys it for champs.
Yeah, see, that'd be cool. You show up with a ready to fly build. Like that's the dream, right? So all right, well, time to go build time to go get my champs fleet ready. And you just go, and usually you have to buy all these different parts from all these different stores that are available to have your champs fleet. But what if you just buy one of the best quads money can buy, and it just shows up in your door in a little box, and you just plug it into the computer, bind it to your radio, and go practice with it a couple times and show up. And then once you get to the race, there's spare parts available at the race, and voila, now you can fix it with plugs, and you can maintain your quad at the race. You didn't have to like spend all that time building that you could have been used to practice. Like, I mean, there's a lot of course, theoretical, really nice things from it, but we're working towards that at the very least.
I think the least nice thing is going to be our packaging, because it's non-existent.
Yeah, we have no packaging. So if you have, if you guys have any great ideas on how to package this, or how you'd like to see ready to fly. I thought we were talking about this yesterday. So like, Monda thought we needed to buy a bunch of those little like, what'd you call them? Like they have like absorb moisture.
Oh, desiccant.
Desiccant packs. Armando, like, in any package I got from him, like, ever, over the years, especially when he lived in St. Louis, there would be, like, just 5 of them in there or something, it seemed like. So that would be one thing to absorb moisture, because that's an issue. It's like, if you ship it somewhere, and, like, all the humidity changes, etc., and moisture builds up, and you plug it in and it smokes, that's a problem. So, definitely some of those in there. And then I think it was from Xhover, maybe I can look it up. They used to do this thing where they would, like, put the quad in this like heat shrink thing, and then it would just like suck into the whole thing, and then it just came and you open it up, but it'd be like airtight at that point, which is pretty cool.
So okay, we're basically 80% of the way through this build after soldering on these motors. 80%
of the way done. Well, this is gonna be a short video, guys. You better stick around. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. This guy.
So you just put your Happy Model Pancake on top. So the reason we went with Happy Model ELRS stuff is because our good friend and really fast boy, Charles, he said the only ELRS stuff he trusts is Happy Model stuff. He's had way too much trouble with other companies' ELRS stuff, like the cheaper stuff. He said that it's worth it to buy the Happy Model stuff because he knows it's going to work.
Yeah, I guess that was everybody's initial worry with ELRS stuff, is that it wasn't going to be reliable, and all that. And I'm sure, like, since anybody can make it and it's open source, that definitely can be a problem. But, like, I trust Charles a lot. He definitely, like, he tests all of his gear really, really intensely. And he said the only ELRS gear that I trust is from happymodel. So that's who we
Radio
chose
Master
to.
started too. Johnny Five's right. So yeah, they actually
they
asked us
did.
if we want to order some. We could also get
should
their
do that.
stuff
Have
because
some
they
options.
they have a different shaped one. It's like a longer one.
Really? Let's see.
They just sent us a price list actually, and then let's see. Somebody said, oh so yeah, Happy Model ELRS is the most reliable. Is this UART based or SPI? So this one is SPI based. So yeah, you don't do the Wi-Fi based. You'll do it through Betaflight. But we're carrying the EP1, the EP2, and the EP1 Dole. So the one that's True Diversity has 2 antennas. So I think it's 2 receivers in one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Let's see. ELRL module. Yeah, EP2 nano receiver. I just don't understand, like, the receivers are already so small that, like, it doesn't even, like, a different shaped one. What are you going to do? Fit it somewhere that you couldn't fit this one? Let's see. Joe Mama says SPI based means it doesn't support ELRS 3.0 in full. I wonder, you know what that means? Like,
I think there's some new features there, but you're still going to get like the 500 hertz. You're still going to get, what were the other features it had?
So yeah, Joe Mama, what would
What are the features we're missing with an SPI based? Because I think this is kind of beautiful for a quick racing build to be able to just let's do 2 little soldering portions where you just solder your motors and then you solder this little camera. I'm gonna keep it away from this antenna. Probably pass it over this way.
So Joe Mama says you don't get full 1000 hertz.
Oh, gotcha. So who was testing that the other day? Charles, and he said 1000 hertz was kind of weird, except it was really nice when there's a 1000 hertz and then there's 1000 hertz where it sends the same command twice.
Yeah, which is just 500 hertz.
Yeah.
But that's the ELRS 3.0 thing for sure. But I've heard that 1000 hertz on Betaflight can sometimes be, like, Betaflight can't fully use 1000 hertz yet. So it seems like the 1000 hertz where it sends both packets twice, it's like perfect LQ, but it's at 500 hertz, which is still cool.
I'm still waiting to try 500 hertz.
Charles let me try
behind
it.
the times.
Charles let me try it. He has like this little box that you plug in the computer, and it uses ELRS, so just turn next to your radio, and then you can change on the radio, go from 250 to 500 hertz, 250 to 500, 250 500, and then we went back and forth, and you could totally feel a difference, 100, and that was on the sim. So that's, maybe not exactly, because Betaflight can do some weird things with it, but still pretty cool. Mason Lively, how short are you making the standoffs on this one? I think we're doing the 20 millimeter.
Well, look how much extra room we got.
Yeah, there's still so much room. I think it was Mason who sent a picture of like a crazy low stack.
I haven't designed like the hat and mount for any shorter standoff, so this was the lowest I could go.
But even still, like, I think once the standoffs get too short, then you have to push the camera way out in front, and then it kind of like, I think there's a fine line between like a short stack and that being cool, and then like the standoff or the camera being like way out in front and then it gets ripped off in a crash. So it seems like 20 millimeters are pretty good, like in the middle there. But you definitely could go lower. When there's only 2 boards there in the whole thing, you can go lower for sure. Mason says works direct to 6S. I've only gone to 4.3 with mine, but can try later. Okay, so he's seems like
Are people still going above 435
Oh, sure.
at races?
I
I
guess
never do. Like that feels risky to me. It's
Well,
435.
if Mona's not doing it, then there's got to be a problem with it.
I just know back in the day, like what it was Vanover.
Oh yeah,
What
Captain
did they call him?
Flamethrower.
Captain Flamethrower.
What
yeah.
a name, right?
But because that was probably the first
that was when
flyer
he was,
I ever saw to race.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that was where Armando and I met. So that was years ago. Armando and I met on a plane on the way to Open Grove 2018. And that's where we met. And then we didn't talk for like a year. I don't know. It was this whole thing. But that's where we met. And that's where coincidentally Armando saw his first fire. So maybe it was a sign. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was a good sign. Maybe it was a bad sign.
I had fun at that race.
I
I'm
did
pretty
too.
sure
You beat us, right? In the team
on the
race.
team race, Heart America.
Gosh,
got
I was so
first
mad
place.
about that.
You can look over there and there's a medal. Right
Oh yeah,
there,
there's a
gold
medal. Mondo just has all his medals just hung up over there. We
They
need to get
hang
like a
out
little
next to the
trophy
3D
wall.
printers.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Mason says, bring back Captain Flamethrower. For those who don't know the history of it, that was when Vanover was all like, he wouldn't let 4S die. Like, he said that 6S, or 4S was still better. 4S was still better. And I remember him fighting tooth and nail. And then he goes there, he can't finish laps in qualifying. Like, and then he's just overcharging more and more. And then he, like, catches a table on fire.
Yeah, like, burned, like, 3 people's back.
Yeah, he had to buy all these people new backpacks. Like, oh, it was a whole thing. So then he was like, okay, maybe 6S is better. And then Miwo won the race on 6S, and it was this whole crazy thing. It honestly was a super crazy race to watch.
That was like a call-out race too, right?
Yeah, for Night Fury. That's when he was doing his tour.
Versus Dolma.
Yeah, and then Night Fury won.
And they did the track backwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole new skill set though. Like I don't think
Dolma
would have been
was ready for
like,
that.
Yeah.
Dolma's like a bodybuilder now though. I follow him on like.
So he's like Seth Griggs.
Yeah, sure, basically. Except he maybe doesn't post on Facebook every day.
Who's bigger?
Yeah. I love Seth's Facebook. It's so great. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy race.
What way do I want to do this?
What do you mean? Just to put the antenna, make the
because UFO? I need the
lock to work.
Lock to work. I think if I go this way. This is the type of stuff that I have to learn on the fly because I've never built this before. But look at that.
Somebody did ask. I think it was Johnny 5 asked where you got those tweezers from.
Which ones?
The ones in your left hand, or they were in your left hand.
Oh, these ones. These are like ceramic tips. So back in the day when, my little brother, he used to smoke cigarettes, and I was trying to get him into vaping. So then I was learning everything about like those crazy e-cigs where you make your own coils and everything. And they use these so they can like compress them while they're heating them, the resistance coils, and so it's non-conductive, so it's ceramic tipped.
See, now I want to know, like, why do you like those? Because they don't open by themselves. Like, you have to open them.
Because I like it whenever it's easy to just hold onto the wire. I don't know.
Because like the way those works is like
I have like all different kinds. I have these ones that are open, these ones that like stay closed, and I have the ones that are like scissored.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where you let go and they get
those
tighter.
Are my least favorite.
Yeah, because you can't get them as tight as you want. The other ones you can squeeze and get them tighter. Mason, all right, I'll find a picture of Dolma really quick.
Anybody that's used these pancakes, does it have the same problems as a hybrid board? Where you like have to mount the VTX wire a certain way off the board or else you're going to bleed?
That's an interesting question.
Because that's a quick way to make enemies at a race.
Yeah, if
you're like, my video's great, I'm not bleeding on your channel. And then they're like, I can't
If somebody's bragging about how bad their video is at a race or anywhere, you should never be the first to brag about how good your video is. Because that's an instant way for them to not like you.
Real quick.
It's okay, mine's great.
Yeah. Just realized something.
What do you realize?
We have the 23 or 25 millimeter stack screws in here.
Okay. Oh, so it's too tall.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But we would have been done.
Well, we were almost done, but we had the wrong length stack screws. I'm gonna find this picture.
That's gonna be the fastest way to do that. So stack screws come out. Just do I have shorter stack screws on me? Surely they're sitting on this desk.
You can also what about standoffs?
Yeah, I can just switch the standoffs and go to the longer ones, but I'm really excited about this build.
Mason said that's a good point, Mondo. I don't know if there's a bad placement for the UFL. And the reason what they're referring to is that on the hybrid boards, there's a way you can mount the UFL over the board, and it kind of makes the most sense when you're building it. But what that actually does is that it can like transmit on multiple channels. It bleeds
into the coax, and then that bleeding goes out and gets transmitted on other channels. Yeah,
so it's not like you're like usually if you have an overpowered VTX, if you're on race band 1, it'll maybe bleed over to race band 2 or something. But this will maybe bleed over to like race band 6, and it'll do just some weird stuff. So to prevent that, you have to mount the coax around the board so it doesn't overlap, and that's the question we had here.
I think these are the right ones, right? These surely look shorter than these.
Tony, I love Tony so much. Excellent milkman. He goes, just cut them off from the top. Dremels are great. We could have a shop class in here. I think Armando's kids are trying to sleep above us, so.
Yeah, Cam's taking a nap.
He probably wouldn't like that.
We've got some ribs on the smoker, so we're trying to be quick.
We're having a Gallegos Turner family dinner tonight.
It's also 533 employee.
Yeah, all the 533 people are invited. It's gonna. Oh, here's the picture. I found it. All right, so if we look here, this is Dolma. Sorry, stepping back here. This is I wish I could find an old picture of him.
You can probably bring it up.
Look at
now.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Is that that is not the Dolma that I remember. He was just like this little kid. But I texted him, and yeah, he's like this bodybuilder now. So I guess now that he's not practicing drones, he has all this time in the gym.
Take this off. And now, yeah, I already tested it. It doesn't explode. So
Okay.
we're happy there.
Mason says no way. Let's see. I'll find an old picture of Dolma because if you saw what I just showed you there, and then you just go, I wonder if he deleted his Instagram. No, he didn't. That is just he used to be just like this little kid. But I guess we all are.
He was really like.
He was incredible.
He was one of the
most talented.
Without practicing.
Yeah.
Like, I always think it's impressive that you don't practice that often and you do well, but Dolma took it to a different level.
Yeah, he did. It was just kind of embarrassing.
And when he did practice, it would be like a weird back alley video flying through the pyro shop.
Yeah, exactly. Something super
with two
weird.
gates.
Yeah, 2 gates that he's making some crazy track or flying in a park with pop-ups. I don't know. He was obnoxiously talented. It was
Built
cool.
different, and now he's built very
Yeah, now
different.
he is built different. Let's see. Nate Lewis says, what FC is that? This is the new Express LRS Pancake. So your FC, your VTX, and receiver all in one board, and then you combine that directly to your Radio Master, and you have 2 boards on your drone, and you built it after soldering like 15 wires, and you're done.
Yeah, like I'm already done, and the longest thing is going to be switching
the stack screws. I just think this was Armando's way of elongating the live stream so that it wasn't like 10 minutes long. So.
Yeah, how long are we going right now? Is there a way to see?
Live
for 27 minutes.
That's not horrible.
And we've been getting 60 FPS, only using 4% of the CPU, just in case anybody was wondering.
Oh my goodness. We got all the room in the world over here. Oh, speaking of, did you make more ripsticks last night?
I did, but I haven't cured them yet because whenever I run or I turn that on, that big ventilator is going. I guess you can sort of see it behind Evan.
Right here,
it looks like I grow marijuana.
He doesn't.
Because that is a grow tent. But there's no lights in it. There's just resin 3D printers in there. Yeah, sub 30-minute builds. Like, yeah, this would have been super fast.
Just the longest part is just screwing. So next we need 533 electric screwdrivers.
I have one. I just don't have the. I lost the.
I always just
M2
forget to charge mine.
Head for it. So right now it just has my 1.5 that I don't even use anymore because I don't have cam screws.
Well, that's unfortunate. Oh yeah, you don't have. I've been wanting to see more build videos, but nowadays they're only maybe 15 minutes. That's pretty funny. Well, here's a longer one.
Yeah.
See all the.
Because I let Evan build the frame, and then later decided that I wanted short standoffs, but I didn't think about the fact.
Well, this is actually Kevin Turner's frame. So let me explain the story of how this went down. So we're out of stock of LightSwitches right now. They get here like this weekend or Monday, and we're like, but we want to go ahead and do the build video going into this weekend so we can relax, etc. So we thought it'd be great, but then we were looking for a LightSwitch, and we didn't want to use a used one. We didn't want to take one apart. We wanted it to be real. So then I was like, oh my goodness, I remember where there's a LightSwitch at. My dad has one. And the reason I knew my dad had one is because when we got one of the first prototypes, or I guess it was one of the last prototypes of the LightSwitch, it was around Father's Day, and my dad really wanted to be one of the first people to have a LightSwitch. So I was like, you know what, Dad? You know what?
Here's a prototype.
Happy Father's Day. Thanks for being such a great dad. Take this LightSwitch. He bolts motors on it. He's so excited. He posted on Facebook trying to flex to all of his friends that he has a LightSwitch before everybody else. And it sat on his work table since the launch of the LightSwitch. Well, how long ago was that? Like,
when did we launch?
4 months ago?
Maybe 4 months.
Something like that.
Was it right when I moved here?
Something like that. It was a long time ago. And it sat there. He didn't touch it. It did not move for so long. And then yesterday, Armando and I, we get it. We take the arms off. We let him keep his motors and everything. And then we put our new motors on and new arms. And then I get a text from my dad. Hey, where's my LightSwitch? I was going to build that for champs. Like,
that's the worst Kevin Turner voice.
After it sat there, it was a dad voice. After it sat there for months. And oh my goodness, it was really funny. And he's all cool with it. He's about to go on vacation And he said he would build it after vacation. We'd get him a new frame and everything. But it was just really funny how he didn't need it for 4 months. Then we were like, oh, great. We'll use it. We'll replace it as soon as they come in this weekend. It'll be good. And then he was just... Rah, rah, rah.
And just like that, I swapped the stack screws. And now we get... Look how clean this looks. I really like this little idea that Michael had.
Yeah,
What's his call sign?
I don't know. I know it is Michael Garofalo.
Yeah,
He's running
like,
the Belgian drone
I don't know
nationals
what
or something right
yeah,
now.
I can picture his face.
Yeah. Amari says, does it have VTX and RX built in or just RX? It has VTX and RX. So it has a UFL on it. I don't think they can see my mouse on here. They definitely can.
Oh, they can. So yeah, there's that UFL you see on the wiring diagram up there. That's for the VTX. And then there's a little surface mount.
In the center, very center of that picture.
You can kind of see that little gold line there. That's the little surface mount 2.4 gigahertz antenna. And yeah, look how quick that was. You don't even have to route antennas or zip tie them anywhere or have a special mount. You just have this quad that looks way too fast now.
It looks super
looks like it's got some biceps. This is like...
Yeah, it's like the Dolma
the
quad.
Dolma switch.
Edwin says, wow, you took your dad's frame. I gave him the frame and then I took it back.
He's going to get a brand new one.
And he's going to get a brand new one. So he'll be all good. I want to build as fast as Mondo one day, says Tony. Tony, I don't know if anybody answered your question. All Tony was at, I saw him ask her like 4 different times in the comments, does it take HV?
Well, what Mason was saying, he has done it a bunch of times.
Yeah. ELRS has been really impressive so far. Haven't had a single failsafe on 500 hertz yet, says Mason. That is pretty crazy.
I will show Amari the exact board.
Oh, you're going to show him that antenna there?
Oh, we're already done.
It's done, but we're just going to show Amari.
I don't think we're going to go through the whole beta flight flashing process because I didn't think that far ahead. And
Oh, we don't have the scene set up yet. Well, we'll have that set up for next time. Things Evan found in his dad's stuff. Yeah, my dad has a ton of stuff.
Amari, yeah, you got your little ELRS receiver there. That's the antenna, and then you got your VTX antenna. I'm running it this way, but I still think we're unsure if there's a best way to route the coax because if you run a hybrid board, you know that there are bad ways to run it. But that's the way we're going to run it, and then if we find out it's bad, we'll let people know what way to run it because it's not good to show up to a race with all your quads exactly the same.
Unless you know they're perfect.
Yeah, unless you know they're perfect. Because there are times where I've seen a bunch of people have to take off all their top plates.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened at, wasn't this Multi-GP Champs this last year? That's when we found out about the hybrid thing, because all these people at sport class had bad video. And then all these people, I think my dad included, were so mad because they had to take their quad apart and reroute their antenna just to have good video. So I guess we don't know yet, but if not, that'd be really awesome. There's a smoke test for you. Boom. Are you going to break off those little ears or are you going to leave them the 30-30 ears?
I mean...
I guess if they don't stick out too much, then it's not a bad...
But we're selling this as a ready to fly?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, do you think they want it ripped off? Or
keep it, yeah.
Because what if they might want to use it
what if they take it somewhere else? Or
yeah, because this is going to get posted up and then we're going to list it on the same listing as we had the other ones. So if you're subscribed, there's a few people subscribed wondering when they're going to come back in stock. So.
Well, here's one. And
this one's LRS.
I think it's pretty cool that they're all live streamed, the build's live stream, because then you can see exactly, like if something crazy happens and there's an error, you can go back to live stream and see it, or see if that's something
you can blame me for it.
Yeah, you can either blame Armando, or if it didn't happen, he did it correctly then.
You're like, I just saw that solder ball fly
right across the screen. It's the size of Mount Everest. That's so funny. That is too funny. But yeah, no, this will go up for... Bobby Bags says you can't have the antenna over the hybrid board. That is correct. You cannot.
Yeah, you will bleed onto other people's channels.
Exactly.
You have to... do I have one? That I can
what?
Show?
A hybrid board?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, there's a quad right here. Like off the... Here, just take it off the spec set.
Not this one. I got one right here.
Okay.
So here's a Switchback Pro. So the way my antenna's coming out, it's coming out the side. Because if you take it and run it over the board and then out the back, you're going to be bleeding on other people's channels because it bleeds into the coax. I don't know, there's some sort of electrical noise emitting from the hybrid boards, and it's been like that since they first came out.
Yeah, but they just didn't know. Like
Yeah, and if you end up running it like that at a race, somebody's going to have bad video, and then you're going to end up having to take all your top plates off, and then run it out the side. So I usually pre-bend it, like back here inside the body, and then I do a little bend over here just so it sticks. Because if you don't pre-bend it, it'll be like sticking out all the way like that, and you don't want that. So I do a bunch of pre-bends, and then the coax holds its shape pretty well, and then it'll stay in the build. And then even if you run a stack saver, it's safe.
Yeah, stack saver will just hold it in.
This quad has seen better days.
Yeah, hey, if it still works, then that's fantastic. Joe says, when will the new Champions Edition motors be in? I think we ran out of stock of them like literally 2 days ago. And I think we already have an order and they're already made. There's about to be a holiday in China where they're manufactured. So they're gonna come in, I believe October 8th is the day the holiday ends. So they will ship that day. They'll be in the store in no time. In time for Champs, and they will also be at Sport Class and Pro Class Champs, so you don't have to worry. If needed. But we do have the MR31s in stock. So if worst comes to worst MR31s are in stock and plentifully so. So there'll be plenty left.
Yeah.
You also need to order battery straps. Oh my goodness.
I thought you had 533 Orca ones.
We got to get that queued up. Yeah, we got to make some calls. Make sure get that approved. But they're done. Yeah, they're ready to go. Slide in the strap with a perfectly tight bottom plate. Yeah, Mason's responding, says you cannot. Somebody said, can you run Express LRS with this board? And Mason says, not at the moment, it's an SPI-RX. I think that is a great...
Does that mean, so is the reason that it can't, is it because it has to be built into Betaflight?
It needs to be UART based instead of SPI.
No, I mean like to be able to update it to 3.0. Because there's a different update procedure for the SPIs. Does that mean you can't have 3.0 until it's baked into Betaflight? When do the Spec 7 frames with 7-inch arms ship? I'm chomping at the bit.
Chomping at the bit.
Those are coming as soon as the LightSwitch builds come. Or
yeah.
It has cleared customs, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I need to show that or the tracking and everything, but
I mean, what?
yeah,
I think everyone who's gotten a package
customs
from
clearance. It says by October 3rd.
And usually they're a couple days early. So that is what's in that box that Armando's showing is light switches, front or side braces for all the different arms.
Yeah.
Spec 7s.
A ton of arms, T700 arms, long back T700.
Ooh, long back T700.
Yeah, we're getting long back T700. We're getting all the braces, some prototype parts for future things coming soon.
Oh yeah, those will be cool for the winter.
Yeah, for the winter. But yeah, once we get this all flashed and tested, we're gonna test it with our radios. Probably do some 500 hertz because I want to try.
Let's try it, yeah.
And then we'll put it up on the site. So yeah, you can just go to that same listing that we have the other Ready to Flies at, click subscribe, and then it'll tell you as soon as this comes into stock. Last time I posted one in stock, it sold within like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, yeah. I gotta go run this to Evan's house because yeah, back in 3 months ago, if I had to ship something to Evan, it would take like 3 days.
At least.
Now it takes 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a drive. Get in the car, drive over.
Yeah, me and my family moved out here to Merville. How do you guys say it?
Merville. Merville. Yeah, sure.
I get called out every
time
I say
I think
Maryville.
it depends how many years your family's lived in Maryville. Like, the more years it gets closer to just M-U-R-ville. Merville. Then you just have less and less syllables. But that's just, yeah.
Do y'all have any of those super sticky battery pads? I got this bag of them.
We have some at the store. We took them all off the store. We kind of saved them for our friends. But
everybody's our friend.
Everybody's our friend. I was about to say, Tony's our friend. Everybody, if you're in this chat right now supporting us, you're our friend. So if you need some,
we will add them to stock, and then we can we can put a bunch in stock.
There's a few, yeah. And we need to order more. I want, yeah, we need to get more.
Yeah, but the plan is we're gonna do some live streams. Like we're gonna try weekly, maybe bi-weekly, and then soon enough, once we get in the groove of things, we're gonna just have them readily in stock. And they're gonna be premium builds. So there'll be like this crazy 8S capable Fox Ear ESC, the slim one, the brand new big fat boy. And then we'll have some with pancakes, and then we'll have some with
Fox Ear.
The Fox Ear flight controller and a hybrid board. So you'll either be able to do Ghost or you'll be able to do this ELRS madness. And I really like how clean this came out.
No, I think it looks beautiful. And yeah, I think the idea would be definitely to get to be able to do more ready to flies. For those who don't know, it's super hard to manage all the inventory and doing all that and making sure you have parts and stuff. So it's difficult for us and definitely a learning experience, but we're trying to start slow by doing these live streams, let everybody know that that's something we're doing, community involvement and everything, and then we'll work towards being able to provide ready to flies to everyone, and that way you don't have to sit at home and worry about why your quads don't work. We'll handle that, and then you just show up.
Nate Lewis says, any tracer option? Oh, we have 69s. Do people have good luck with the 69s?
Yeah, I don't know. What's it called? I've heard...
Would it be better to do a tracer build with a Nano RX and like a unified Pro 32?
The only benefit you get with the 69 is just that you can just unplug it, plug it in. Like, that's what I really like about any, like the hybrid board, 69, and this, is you can just unplug it and plug in a new one. So I think if we can get it working reliably, then we should just do that and make all the 3 different, I guess, RX people happy.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Thanks for the suggestion, Nate. And then, yeah, like having the 50 hertz where it sends 2 packets at a, or the 500. Oh, there's also a 500 hertz where it sends 2 packets at a time.
Oh, I didn't know. So it's like 250, but it does the 500. See, that's really cool. Joelle asks if there's any chance of a thinner, lighter weight version of the battery pad. How much does the battery pad weigh? Do we have a scale around here?
Right in front of the Spec 7.
Let's see how much it weighs, and then let's think about the pros and cons of
having a battery pad.
Doing one that's lighter.
Should I take the protective film off?
No, it's fine. Oh, you can't. It's right in the reflective area, so we can't see
4.2. Can you see that? 4.2 grams.
I mean, I guess if you take off 2 grams.
What's that equivalent?
What if you like cut it in half?
Like, is that like what a turtle fin weighs?
No, turtle fin is far more expensive.
4.2 exactly.
Oh my goodness.
4.2.
So
maybe everything's 4.2 on this scale. What the heck, 4.2? It was like 60 grams.
Well, let's see. Somebody says the Tracer 69 is not as good.
Lollybag says he ran it all summer and it was fine.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe a little bit of, and that's like all the products, I think.
No, but somebody says it's crap in German Pro Class burned so many of them. What's burning them?
Is that I'm not sure.
Spikes or just from typical use or in crashes? I guess if it was in a crash, it would be like a voltage spike.
Yeah, right? Or I'm not sure if he's talking about burning them as in they just took them out of their quads and burned them. I don't know what he's talking.
It's so crap that he just made a pile of. Those pads are meta right now. They are still lighter than Dole.
Mason says cut it in half and they have pads for 2 quads, which I think that'd work. You still have enough.
Yeah, no, they're great. And like a lot of people think that they wear out, but all you really have to do is get like your finger wet or like a paper towel or something just wet. Like if you just run it underwater and then wipe it and then let it air dry, it's super sticky. Don't like try to pat it dry with a paper towel or anything. Air dry it and then it's good to go. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Because there's no like adhesive. It's just sticky and you just can wash it off and it becomes good again. So
what is it, like nano structures on the little tiny air pockets? I'm pretty sure it's like.
Well, it works really good because they really are so sticky.
Yeah, and even like sometimes it's too sticky where I'll actually take this, put it on my shirt a couple times, get some lint on it because I want it to be stickier to the quad than to my battery, because you're not worried about the battery ejecting this way. You're worried about sliding, so it doesn't have to be that sticky to inhibit sliding.
I swear it makes it fly better when like the quad, when the battery doesn't do this, like when it doesn't twist or anything in the air. If you get it tight on a battery pad like that, it flies so good.
I think that has to do with this whole noise being induced into the stack by just this battery lead hanging out. Like you found at Freedom Spec, where if we like zip tied this down or you twisted your battery lead, the quad just sounded smoother.
Yeah.
And that's also on like the Freedom Spec preset where they literally just turn everything off when they let the quad just eat, basically.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. But you have to have everything secure. Nothing moving.
Whenever you pull your battery lead down, if you haven't put your stack down yet, I like to like, as I'm pulling it tight, push the lead into the body, because if you don't do that, it ends up like
putting ESC
like
down.
strain or some sort of stress on here, pulling it down, and you end up with a crooked stack.
Don't want that. Somebody says the VTX quality is not up to his standards. I know Mason, he's in the chat right now. He says that he's used these quite a bit. They've been pretty good.
He said as long as you have a good antenna.
Yeah, so maybe you can't use the standard linear antenna, but I don't know. I trust Mason and T-Dog, and then I think Nitro over in Europe have used these. But I mean, everybody needs to find out for themselves. So we'll do some testing ourselves and see if it's up to our standards. And I think they'll only get better.
I don't even know what the output range of the thing is. Like, what all does it output?
That's a good question. I can look that up. It's pulled up right here. 2 to 6S LiPo input, MPU 6000. It weighs 5.18 grams.
Yeah, what does this build weight?
0 milliwatts to 400 milliwatts.
So we have battery pad. So we're at 264, like this. And we could, without MR, what do MR30s weigh? 20 grams total?
No,
for 4?
like 10.
10 grams total, so we'd be at 254 without MR30s.
And then 17 grams for props.
Okay, so then we're back up. So we just add 7,
270.
so we're 270. 270 with props, if you didn't have MR30s. But this is going to be ready to fly, and then so if somebody kills a motor, they can just order
Unplug.
another
I mean,
one.
and I think for the consumer for ready to fly, they just want to unplug it, plug in a new one, and go back and fly. If you're buying a ready to fly, you're not buying it to have the world's lightest quad or whatever. You're building it to be able to go fly. That's what you enjoy. You don't enjoy building, you enjoy flying. So I think this is a great way to have the best of both worlds as far as performance and being able to work on it. At least I hope so. And I guess we can also, if somebody really, really wants it, I'm sure we can be convinced to do some ready to flies with normal motors, but I don't know. I think that with a ready to fly, it's just so nice to be able to unplug a motor and plug in a new one.
It's getting to the point where building this is so short, like what's stopping somebody from building a quad?
Well, I don't know. The soldering iron,
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It is intimidating.
It's a scary thing.
I wasn't good at soldering.
It makes it's a learning curve. The smaller you can make the learning curve, I think the better it is for the whole community and for everybody in
But
general.
it was like a lot scarier when we started.
Or when you had the pins and
well,
stuff?
you had 4 ESCs, and then each ESC you had to like solder wires to each side of, and then to a PDB, and
Which
then
is,
the PDB.
that was thick wires too.
Yeah, and then you didn't even have like the dongles that went from ESC to flight
Yeah,
control.
just
You had
a
to
bunch of
solder
wires.
all that.
You know, we just sounded like we were about 7 years old telling
Yeah.
some kid, back in my day, do you know how difficult it was? Don't you
You
complain.
know how heavy a cell phone was? I had to use a car to carry it.
That's so
But
funny.
yeah, thanks for hanging out. We're gonna post this up. I gotta go check on the ribs.
Yeah. I'm making hash brown casserole, so
I'm
I have
excited
to
for that.
start that first.
Anytime I cook something, I'm more excited about what other people are making.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the food doesn't taste as good when you spend all day surrounded in the smell of it. Like it
yeah.
almost is duller.
All I know is that I have to, in the recipe, there's something called cream of chicken soup, which sounds disgusting.
It's just like Campbell's cream chicken soup.
It sounds really weird, but
Sounds like something
that's going in it.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people that make recipes like that, and it's just like, and they get those like little French onion things sometimes too.
Well, I hope it's good, and we're gonna have a nice little 533 and family dinner
Yeah,
tonight.
and what was the weight last second? It was 264 like this, and then you add 17 for props, but you'd save 10 grams of that MR30s.
But I'd say, yeah, the all-up weight, 280 grams for a ready to fly with a heavy battery strap, with the battery pad. Like, if you want to cut weight, you can cut weight with the heavy turtle fin. Like, oh my goodness, you can cut off. That's 10 grams right there between the battery pad, battery strap, and the turtle fin. Doesn't that turtle fin weigh like 7 grams? Pretty sure
That's a
it
good
does.
question. It's pretty heavy, because we were making it for Freedom Spec, so
Yeah, I think it was 7 grams. So,
and we're always finding ways to add a little.
but it looks cool. That's the big question.
And it's integrated into that mount.
Oh, it looks too cool.
Because I had the
I'll
one
take
that
7
went
grams for that
backwards
any day.
down and hit your cap, so this one is just never.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But yep, thank you guys.
Yep. See you guys, and we'll do it again next week.
I think you just click stop stream.
Okay.